Okay.
Let's see if they can turn two. There's one. And there's two.
Pretty big fish to fry. That's a pretty big fish to fry. My. That's a pretty big fish to fry. That's a pretty big fish to fry. My. Last weekend I barely thought I'd make it out alive. Told myself I'd take time and give some more a try. I was alive. My.
Oh, yeah, it is Tuesday, January the 3rd, 2017. You are checking out the #1 rated podcast worldwide, where there are amateurs talking sports from New Jersey, from Chicago, from Washington, D.C. As we said last week, it's quite a specific demographic. But we are #1 worldwide. We do appreciate this week we picked up a listener from Big Papi's homeland, the Dominican Republic. So we thank you for taking the time to listen on vacation. Sean filled us in. We had a faithful listener on vacation. Folks, this is the Turn 2 Sports and Beer podcast. My name is Jeff. We are Facebook Live tonight. You can find us on social media by searching Turn 2 Podcast. I'm joined this week by probably our largest panel yet. We'll do a quick introduction. We got a couple boys from Chicago, all returning guests. You know him as our college football expert. We have Sean.
What's going on, Jeff? You know, our international lister kind of looks like Big Papi, so it's fitting.
Oh, yeah? That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. We should have him post a picture to the Turn 2 Facebook page so we can do side-by-side comparison.
We'll do. Happy New Year.
You too. You too. The other two boys coming to us from the city of Chicago. We got the white man tonight. They
Hey,
can't.
everybody.
I was gonna say you're waving. They can't hear you.
I watch it on YouTube. I'm the only one that watches it on YouTube, I think.
I haven't checked our YouTube numbers there, but you can also find us on YouTube by searching Turn 2 Podcast. Also from Chicago, as we said last week, Montville, New Jersey royalty. We got JR.
Hey, Jeff, thanks for having me on. I think, are we the largest panel by mass, or is that by head count, or what is?
Well, it's absolutely by mass. Absolutely by mass. Let's do DC. We got coming to us from our nation's capital, from the capital. We got Yampo.
Gentlemen, how are you? Good to be here with, what do you think our combined weight is?
A lot.
Okay.
I just had a burrito.
I would say we're probably somewhere in the
Sean's got jokes.
1,400. That's what I would say. 1,400 pounds. That's what I would say we're at right now. Not quite sure why we're playing applause there, but that's okay. From Whippany, we got Paul battling a cold.
Good to be back, buddy.
Good to have you back, sick and all. And his lighting is a little bit better in the evening. We have Brett.
Getting ready. Here's my can of bleach. Drinking it for the Milltown crew tonight.
Oh, I'm
You look
super
good.
excited for that. That's going to be great. Bleach is delicious.
And good evening, everybody. And despite the fact that I have just knocked a cup of coffee in my lap and a suit that's just out of the cleaners, it's great to be home.
And his first pitch to D. Gordon is almost on the kneecaps for ball one. D just did get out of the way.
It's the first pitch.
All right, so last week we opened up our first pitch to a little bit of a panel discussion. We're going to, I think, maybe do something similar this week. Yampo, lead us off.
Boy, I got to say, I'm a tad nervous to do a first pitch. This is like the heart's pounding a little bit. Jeff, you make it look so easy week after week. It's pretty impressive. So, but I want to start talking about the non-story story that's taking over the beginning of the playoffs of the NFL. Odell Beckham Victor Cruz, Sterling Shepard, and the rest of my wide receiver boys with the Giants went down for a little boat trip, hang out with the Beebs. No big deal. It's their day off. And all of a sudden, it's the biggest story of the NFL. Now, I can't tell you how frustrating that is. And it's frustrating for a few reasons. First and foremost, social media has taken over the way our athletes post pictures of themselves in their private life and their professional life, probably in the last 4 or 5 years, I'd say. These guys have to know that any and everything they do and take a picture or around people taking pictures is going to get posted and spun into something, especially someone as big as OBJ. That being said, the guys did nothing wrong. They went down for a little R&R, if that's what you call it at the club, 2 a.m. with the Beebs on a Sunday night after their season ended. Monday was an off day, and all of a sudden, it's the biggest story in the country. You know, back in the day, there was an article that Steve Politi of NewJersey.com wrote where he talked about Max McGee. Okay, there's the picture. Thanks for showing it. Thank you for live time showing that. The white man.
Thank you.
Max McGee, 1967, AFL NFL World Championship. The guy was out until 6:30 in the morning partying. Didn't think he was going to play. Someone got hurt. He went in and had one of the most prolific Super Bowl performances of all time. Now, great story that we hear years later. But geez, if that had happened right out of the gate and Vince Lombardi would send him packing, if Twitter got a handle on that. Now, 50 years has come and gone. Times have changed. I want to know what you guys think about this non-story Yahtzee.
I think it's ridiculous. I don't understand for 10 seconds why we're paying any kind of attention to it, with the exception of the fact that why do these guys feel the need when they do something like this to post it to social media?
Yeah, that's the problem.
Honestly, like
this has been going on for a long time. Michael Jordan, I remember in the 90s, after a Knicks-Bulls playoff game, went down to Atlantic City and stayed up all night gambling. But he didn't take pictures of himself doing it, and all these guys have to do it. And everyone fights the urge of it when they go out or they're doing something cool to take some pictures.
JR, do you wish Jeremy Shockey had Twitter or Facebook in the heyday?
I don't know if I would have survived following Jeremy Shockey live on Twitter every single day. Man is a golden god.
Oh, I agree. Couldn't agree with you more.
But he was though, like these guys taking a jet down to Miami and going out. Is that the equivalent to us, like John taking an Uber to the casino by the airport? Like, is that at that income level? Is that the exact same thing?
Well, who was it? Right? It was Beckham, Cruz, Shepard, and who else?
I think King maybe, or one other guy on the receiving corps.
Really, the only one out of that's made any kind of serious, consistent money was probably Cruz, right? Because Beckham is still playing on his rookie deal.
Yeah.
So Cruz has probably made the most money out of that. So I don't know. Do you think Cruz like he floated the plane himself? He's like,
who cares?
Well, Beckham has that Beef Links commercial now, doesn't he?
I don't know. I hope so. I really hope so, because that's awful.
You can talk about that all you want, Dave, and fine. It's nice to be a free person and go out and go on vacation. That's cool. What did we learn from Tony Romo on vacation with Jessica Simpson the week before his playoff game? It doesn't end well. You know who wasn't on vacation with OBJ? Eli Manning. And the comparisons between those two players and what they do before they come across one of the biggest games of their lives speaks volumes about the type of people they are.
Bold statement. Bold statement, Cotton.
That's what I'm known for. That's what they call me on this show.
I think the worst part is that Johnny Manziel was with them. Like, I think that's the only part where this whole story falls apart for me.
Wait, was he?
Yes, and now he's getting investigated by the Dallas Police Department for violating a possible plea deal.
What an idiot.
For beating up his
girlfriend.
girlfriend.
How many girls were on the boat? Anybody know?
Like many. It didn't.
None.
Like many.
It was like
There were two in the background. There were two in the background.
There were absolutely more pairs of Timberlands than there were.
Here's the thing. Physically, there's no way that them being on that boat has anything to do with how they're going to play on Sunday.
No, not at all. That's why it's
But they
not
don't
a
get the
story.
benefit of the doubt. The media is going to say figures they were out partying on Monday. So that kind of hurts from that standpoint. If they screw up, that's what's gonna get blamed.
Did you hear
exactly, John? If Odell drops a big touchdown in this game and the Giants lose, that's all New York media is going to talk about.
Why?
That's ridiculous because they're going out on their off day. It's not going to affect how they're playing on Sunday. Like if Beckham drops a pass, it's not going to be because he was hanging out with Biebs.
It might.
The best part of the story is Eli's response, right?
Yeah, totally. It was amazing.
What did Eli say?
He said, I was telling people I'm the one who took the picture. They just wouldn't let me in the picture with my shirt off.
Did he do this afterwards?
No, but the memes of the shirtless picture of him like on vacation, and then people photoshopping that onto the boat with the rest of the guys are incredible. Absolutely incredible.
The other thing is he totally deadpanned the media when they started asking him about it. He said, we pride ourselves on preparation, and to be honest, I was a little disappointed in what the guys packed for their trip. They didn't bring any bathing suits, no flip-flops. They had pants and boots. I don't know if you saw that, but he totally said that straight out to the media, and everybody lost their mind.
So I think the boat had to have been an afterthought. I mean, they were just going there to party, right?
Yeah.
Boat thing was like, I guess we'll go on a boat today,
Yeah. The bigger issue is I don't know why these guys feel the need to take pictures, the Snapchats in the club, posting it on. I mean, if that's what you want to do, fine. It's your off day, whatever. But nothing good has ever come of it. So that's all I got on that.
All right, so let's actually go to the NFL playoffs then. Let's start with that game. Let's start with the locals. Side once they get off the boat, they're going to have a very different experience as they go to Green Bay, Wisconsin. You got Green Bay giving 4.5 to the Giants. Dave, why don't you?
You like how
that line moved to 6.5?
No, it didn't.
Yeah, it did. It did.
That's from today.
Are you? Yeah, last night I saw it was 4.5, and today.
Listen, don't you like that I put all the lines in there so we don't have to scramble for the lines?
Well, the MGM Sportsbook, please stop arguing with the Binion Sportsbook.
Speaking of lines, how many lines do you think those guys did on the boat the other day?
None.
Oh, the puns are back. The puns are back on the podcast.
He's got plenty more in store.
Very
Jonathan.
Can we talk about the damn football game, please?
Yeah, sure. Let's talk about it.
All right. So you got Green Bay coming off that hot streak where Rodgers basically said, "No, we're going to run the table," and then they did. You got the Giants, whose defense is probably playing at kind of a, I don't want to sound like hyperbolic, but a kind of a historic defense type of level going into the playoffs, but an offense that can't do anything. So break it down. What do you think? Fandom aside, where do you think you stand here going into Green Bay?
So I like, if you had to ask me, do I want to take my best defense versus the best offense? I'd probably feel a little bit better about a best offense. But this type of game, the Giants have played here before. Everybody's talking about, they did in 07, they did in 11, two totally different scenarios, not relevant at all. But that's just going to be the rhetoric we're going to hear all week. I'm a little concerned. The temperature is going to be cold, and there are a handful of guys on that Giants team who, why are we playing cold weather? Not nearly that cold. And Aaron Rodgers got some veterans on that offense, so it's going to be interesting to see, a prolific offense playing against a prolific defense. If the Giants can make some stops and Beckham can come down with one or two big catches and make a play here or there, take advantage of field position, they could squeak one of these games out. I think they could squeak it out.
Yeah, it'll be a little bit colder than the boat in Miami.
Just a tad. Well, they were dressed for that, so.
Paul, what do you have a different take, or how do you see it going in Green Bay on are they playing Sunday or Saturday?
Sunday.
Sunday.
Game.
Yeah. I don't want to hurt Yampo's feelings, but I kind of disagree. I mean, I don't think I honestly don't even think it's going to be that close of a game. Rodgers is just riding this hot streak. He's got like 18 touchdowns, no picks in his last 7 games. And, I just don't see them going into Lambeau and slowing him down. I know the Giants defense has been great lately. They've allowed 10 points or less in 3 of their last 4. So, you got your classic great offense versus great defense. But I just think the offense wins out in this one. I don't think the history with the Giants going to Lambeau in 07 and 2011 to get those wins is gonna hold up. And I know everyone's just kind of romanticizing about that's the that's kind of the path they took the other two Super Bowl championship years. But I just don't see it holding up this year. I think that offense is too strong, and I think if it gets into the mid-20s, if the Packers score in the mid-20s, I just don't see the Giants matching them.
I don't know. The Packers didn't have a very good beginning of the year.
No, they were 4-6, and then they went up. Let's look at some of the teams that they beat in the last however many weeks. I mean, the only team they really beat that's worth the salt was Seattle. I mean,
I don't think Seattle's very good either. I mean, Seattle's had some weird games this year too. They're not the standard Seattle team.
The Lions have lost 3 in a row since Stafford got hurt with the finger thing. I mean, they're going to be one and done. But they beat Houston, they beat the Eagles, they beat the Bears and the Vikings and the Lions. So
it's not exactly murderer's row.
No, we'll see. It should be a hell of a game.
Giants always play the Packers well. I mean, that's despite the one game this season, but they always play them tough. Even in the regular season a few years ago. I don't know. It's a general statement, but the last 5 times they've played them, I think they played them really tight. So I think it's going to be a close game.
You think, or you know? Do you have stats to back that up?
I have a crystal ball sitting right next to me. It says Aaron Rodgers, 200 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception.
That's a snow globe.
Landon Collins. It's a battle between the Alabama defense. Clinton Dix versus Landon Collins.
Can I throw out there that the Giants didn't run the ball at all in that regular season game? I think that, I don't know, they had Bobby Rainey as the leading rusher in that game with 22 yards. That's something that's certainly changed since they played each other.
Yeah, but has it? I mean,
Giants still can't run the ball.
Yeah, they ran the ball well last week against the Redskins. That was it.
Yeah, and their
who
defense
is the worst defense? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're going to see a lot more Paul Perkins. I think it's a little bit better of a rushing attack. I think, but
it'd be worse. So I mean,
yeah, I mean, you got to run the ball in January.
Yeah, but the bottom line is this: like I've seen a very good defense with a mediocre offense go to back-to-back conference title games. So the Giants absolutely have more offensive talent than either of those Jet teams had.
Yeah, Mark Sanchez was your quarterback.
That's what I'm saying.
Did you say mediocre quarterback?
At that point, go back and look at Sanchez stats. He maybe played better than mediocre in those actual playoff runs. It was not, he actually reverted back to the mean where he's garbage, but he actually played very well in those playoff runs. So, and Eli's a better quarterback with playoff experience. I think you have a shot, and when you're playing on the road in the playoffs, that's all you need is a shot.
I'll take it.
Let's move on to our next game that we got here. How about we stick with the NFC and we'll go to Detroit and Seattle. You had mentioned that you think Detroit might be one and done. Yampo, we got Seattle laying 8 at home. Brett, you have a take on that game or no?
Seattle laying, what is it, 8?
You're laying 8. Well, spread aside, you got coming into them. Stafford.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't see this being particularly close. Even if they cover or don't cover, it's going to be one of those games where like that final score of 7-8-9 is going to seem a lot closer than the game actually was. Even though, Seattle's not an overly impressive team right now, they're kind of doing the reverse of what the Giants are doing. The fact that the Giants, everybody, I think, for all intents and purposes, agrees are peaking at the right. Seattle never really hit that peak this year. If they did, they hit it. I think everybody was kind of slobbing them when they beat the Pats on week 10 or so or 11.
Slobbing them.
Yeah.
It's a family show, Brett.
But that's not too explicit. We'll put the explicit tag up on iTunes. It'll be taken care of. But for now, they kind of, hit that high water mark in that, and they haven't been overly impressive since. I still see them handling Detroit pretty easily.
Anybody see that game going differently? I don't. I see it going Seattle's way. Speak now or forever hold your peace. Okay, your silence is deafening. My gamblers, you got a line of. We got a line of Seattle giving 8. Let's go to White Man first. What do you think?
I think that line tells me instinctively that it's a trap spread. So they're trying to make you think, oh, I got 8 points. It's going to be, I like the Lions. They're going to come within a touchdown, but I think it's going to be a 2-touchdown game. I take I take Seattle.
Yampo?
Not touching it. Too big
Bookies
for
are
me
trying
in a
to
playoff
get you
game.
excited about that game. But
it's too
I'm not
big of a
falling
spread
for it.
for me.
Yeah.
I mean, not as big as the next game you want to talk about, though.
But you think they're trying to get early money on Detroit, is what you think?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's go to the AFC. We got the biggest line of the week. We got the Fish going into Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's given 10 at home to the Dolphins. That's a very, very big line. What's the latest? Does anybody have any information on Tannehill? Is he officially out yet for the week, or do we know?
They're still waiting, I think.
I think
that's last I read.
I don't know if that makes much of a difference, to be honest with you, because Tannehill is pretty suspect. Brett, you were rocking the Dolphins running back this year for a number of weeks. How did he finish the year?
Finished the year with a great game. It was irrelevant to my fantasy purposes because my team missed the playoffs. But he finished the year with like, I don't know, $160, $170 and a touch.
Ask Paul.
It was over 2.
Yeah. It was over
200 yards, and you guys said to bench him.
Sucker.
I still won. I beat Ras.
There you go.
I don't know why anybody that's on this podcast panel would listen to anybody else on this podcast panel about any advice that comes to
we're gonna get back to that.
Whoa.
Later.
Yeppa owes me a Venmo Vig for Clemson.
Oh, was there no VIG offered?
No VIG offered.
Oh, okay. All right, I'll send you a little something. I'll send you $1 right now.
So my question is this then. Miami's proven that they can run the ball pretty effectively throughout the year. They go into Pittsburgh. Gampa, you had mentioned you got to be able to run the ball in January. Can they actually run the ball? Can they make this a close game against Pittsburgh?
I just don't see it. I know they went into Pittsburgh already earlier this year and kind of shocked the Steelers early on, and people were like, "Whoa, Dolphins are serious, right?"
Was Roethlisberger in that game or no?
I don't. Yes. Yeah, he got hurt. He got hurt.
He got hurt in that game?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he came back in.
That might have been the first big Ajayi game. I think he had 200 yards against Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
It's a big line for a team that, has gone in there and played well.
Yeah, I mean, I guess a Matt Moore-led Dolphins team coming to Pittsburgh for a team that has been in the playoffs year after year, has experience, has Roethlisberger. That's where that's coming from. But I could see that game being a 14-point game. But I'm still not touching it.
I think their cheerleader of a head coach over there will.
All right, Bradshaw.
We'll put them in the AFC title game. So I have no doubts that Pittsburgh's the better team. I think Miami's had a nice year, as much as it pains me to say it because I hate the Dolphins. But I think that their run probably ends this week.
But the game that everyone's talking about.
How'd we end on this game?
Connor Cook versus
Go Green.
Awesome. Coming off the bench to try to take the big bad Raiders down. Really disappointing if you're the Raiders, right? That you fell to the level that you fell, and you got to play the stupid freaking Texans.
So bad.
I hate the Texans. Only they could win that crappy division and have to play a second or third string quarterback at home. It's freaking awful. The over/under is 37.
Yeah,
it's terrible.
It's not good. Connor Cook, that poor kid, he's got to start his first game in the NFL in the playoffs, and nobody wants him playing. Everyone's asking. It's like he's the redheaded stepchild twice removed. They'd rather
go green.
Go white. I mean, listen, he's won some big games in college.
I would love that position, dude. If I was him, like
you were a quarterback.
Not if you were the Raiders.
No, but not if I'm the Raiders in general. But if I'm him, give me the ball, man. I'll shock the world. I'll take us. Like I think that's an awesome position to be in. He literally has nothing to lose. Go out there, just sling it. I hope they stomp the Texans because I don't know why I look up every year. Somehow they're in the playoffs. They get waxed in the first round, but they're there, and it's starting to become annoying. So,
do you think there's a chance? Just let's play it out for a second, right? Do you think there's a chance that the game is really close? It's the fourth quarter. They're within a score. Call timeout. Connor,
here we go.
Connor Cook goes to the sideline. He looks at Jack Del Rio. Jack Del Rio says, "What do you want?" He says, "I want the ball." And he says, "Winners always do." And then he throws a pick six. They lose.
I thought for sure the Stone Cold.
I was waiting for it. I thought he was coming out.
I thought Rex Ryan was here. Oh man.
Listen, Rex can't be everywhere. All right, he can't just start showing up in random. Although he would be he would be. His brother was great in Oakland. He'd be an excellent Raiders head coach. Although Jack Del Rio's not losing his job, but Rex was perfect for that franchise.
No.
Also, should be noted that the Raiders have a darker jersey than the Buffalo Bills.
Makes sense now.
Resurfacing jokes.
For those of you serial listeners.
They're called callbacks, yeah.
I like how JR kind of moved some things around and like strategically laid like a hockey jersey. Like he's the hockey guy now.
That old thing?
Oh, yeah. Oh, look at my BC Eagles. Whatever. Get out of here. What is that, Brian Giantas?
That's just where I dry my sweaters.
Is that Geo's?
Listen, you gotta lay them out because you don't want them to shrink on you. That's the way it works. No good.
No. Wait, I want to know. You're ending it. You're killing the segment.
I was going to, but if you want me to rewind that, I can. And you can.
Well, no, I don't want you to rewind it. But I want. Where did your picks? Where did your predictions fall? Or do we not have time for that?
Oh man, shoot, Jeff.
So
Ras was the best.
Ras was definitely the best.
That's embarrassing.
Was he really?
Ras had a good football year.
All right, Ras took the Pats in the East, won it. Took the Chiefs in the West. No. Took the Bengals in the North. No. Took the Texans in the South. So we got 2. And then his wild cards were Broncos and Steelers. So I don't know how we want to count the Steelers because they're in, but they're not the wild card.
Let's do teams that actually made the playoffs. He's got 1,
right,
2.
He's got 1, 2. The Giants did
5,
4,
6. He's got 7.
Carry the 1 divided by 3.
7 teams in the playoffs.
This podcast is all about preparation.
6. Yeah. I had the Pats. I had 1, 2.
I have 7.
3, 4.
Listeners dropping.
I have 5.
Listeners.
That's it.
Right,
I have 5.
So all you need to know is that Brett loses.
Yeah, I lost. I only got 5.
Can you say it in Spanish for our international crowd?
No. Buddy?
Cinco picos.
Yo tengo 5.
I had 5.
Donde está biblioteca, Pedro? I'm brushing up on my Spanish. We're opening a Globo gym. All right. Let's go to the NBA. The white man. Back with the NBA. We didn't save you till the last segment this week, so no hatred this week. I guess we'll go open forum, but the first thing that we got to do, and I need to get this off my chest to kind of, and I know that you're going to probably agree, but I want to hear another take on it.
Is this the apology for my Christmas bet?
No. I'm watching the Knicks last night, and
I was watching that game too.
They can score with anybody in the league, right? They can put up 105, 110 points. It's not a problem. But they legitimately struggle to do the fundamental things on defense that you teach a middle school basketball team to do. And if I have to watch Carmelo Anthony fail to get a call one more time and stand there and not run down the floor and watch his guy hit either a layup or an open jump shot, I'm going to break my damn television. So let's throw it out there. The Knicks. Give us a 2-minute take on the Knicks. And I know, Brett, you have a specific Melo question. So let's get the take on the Knicks right now as they sit.
Yeah, well, the Knicks 5 straight losses. They're 16-18. I think the last time I was on the podcast, they were in the 5th seed in the Eastern Conference. Now they're the 10th seed. So not looking good. Hornacek said after the game last night, I think they're trying. I just don't think they're good enough defensively. Then a reporter goes over to Carmelo and says, and tells Carmelo what Hornacek said, and Carmelo says, "I'd rather talk to Jeff about that, see where he's coming from," and that was just a disgusting quote to me. I mean, Carmelo hasn't played defense his entire career. He just had a Hall of Fame coach, George Karl, complain about his defense. He refuses to accept or listen to anybody that he doesn't play defense. So my comment on the Knicks is Lockheed Martin couldn't help this team, which is the #1 contractor hired by the U.S. government for defense.
Explaining your jokes, not a good sign.
Lockheed Martin could not help the Nets. And then the Knicks, and then I'll tell you what, they couldn't help the Nets either. Jeremy Lin, there's good news here with Jeremy Lin. He's torn his hamstring. He's torn both hamstrings, and the good thing is he can't tear another one because he only has 2. The Nets are 8-25, 15 games back. The Nets are absolutely terrible. If you combine the best players on the Knicks and the Nets, you'd still have a team that didn't make the playoffs.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that at all. I think the Knicks have plenty of talent to make the playoffs. They just can't do anything once they get into the playoffs.
I agree with you, but I'm a big Knicks fan. That's why I got the NBA package. They were showing signs of life, and then I think they're 0-4 since I got the package.
Wait, who's the 5 in the Knicks? Noah?
Rose. Oh yeah, Noah.
Noah. If you swap out Noah for Brooke Lopez,
what is the love affair with Brooke Lopez?
I don't know, because he's the only one I've watched play for 5 years.
The problem is they don't play defense. They play no defense, so it doesn't matter who's on the team. If you don't play defense, you can't win. And the problem is that their leader does not want to play defense.
Well,
so
Derrick Rose called them out on it. Derrick Rose was like, "You say you want to win, but you don't play like you want to win."
Right. So if Carmelo said, "Let's play some defense, let's lock in and play D," then they would all play D. But they follow the leader, and he doesn't do it.
Hold on, I got a stat for you, Jeff and Dwight, man.
Yeah, good.
Carmelo Anthony's career steal average per season, 1.
That's pretty good.
His blocks, a half career average.
Fantastic, D.
Do you have LeBron stats there, like steals per game?
No, but I'll get back to you. Go ahead.
All right, let me pose this to you, John, now, because this is a good time for it. Concerning Melo. Here's my question, and then hear my reasoning why. Do you think that this is the beginning of the end for Carmelo in New York? And I say that because I think it was last night. They played Orlando, right?
Yeah.
Hornacek draws up a play, okay? And MSG, the network, shows this. All right. Melo, ball comes in. Melo cancels the play, goes down court, takes a shot, misses it on I think the left-hand side. But you can see Hornacek literally watch Melo wave off the play he called, turn around, fold his hands, and just shake his head and walk back to the bench. Now, this is MSG, the network that's owned by the Knicks, right?
They're all owned by.
And that's why the Knicks fired Marv Albert for being honest during his play call, the greatest announcer of all time.
Is that why they fired him?
Yeah.
I think it might have had something to do with hookers and a toupee.
No, that wasn't because of that. It was just because he was honest about how bad the Knicks.
Could you imagine Marv Albert with Twitter and Instagram? Oh my God, would have been gold. Yes.
But this has got to be it for him, right? I mean, we're coming to a close in the Melo era.
Everybody realizes it except for Melo. He thinks he still thinks he's above having to play defense. He'll never learn.
Everybody think.
I don't know how Phil gets him out. That's my question.
That's the thing, is everybody thinks it's over except for Melo and for Phil, because he gave him an ironclad no trade. I mean, it's just not happening.
Yeah, it's weird because like the one person that I would say is like every other, I think, team president or whatever Jackson's role is, I feel like you could steamroll them if you were the media in New York. Phil Jackson is so stubborn. No matter what they say, he doesn't care. So the media could be calling for Melo to leave for years, and he'll just wait him out if provided he's there.
But Phil doesn't want Melo there. I don't think Phil likes Melo.
I don't think he does either.
How could you?
But I heard a rumor that they might consider trading Carmelo to the Clippers for Blake Griffin.
I don't think they could get him.
I don't think that Blake Griffin will make the Knicks any better. You got two guys that aren't winners.
If they were able to flip Melo right now for Griffin and Redick, I would do it in a heartbeat.
Oh God, I hate Redick.
Yeah, but think about it. With Rose penetrating the lane, and you could throw it out to Redick, he's going to hit shots all day.
Right.
Give me Drazen Petrovic, Dan Marley, Detlef Schrempf, Brooke Lopez.
Some of those guys actually would make sense from these Knicks.
Yeah. Anyway, since we started talking NBA, we went from 14 viewers to 5.
Thunder Dan Marley would absolutely work. I like that. Couple things league-wide, and then we will kind of move on from the NBA. James Harden against our Knicks put up just a disgusting triple-double the other night. I don't know if any of you saw that. He put up over 50 points. It was gross. He still got Westbrook doing his thing. Looks like he, if you were, John, if you were to give somebody the lead in the MVP race as we near the halfway mark, who do you think it would be?
Russell Westbrook.
Not even a hesitation.
No, not even a hesitation. I mean, even when he has those triple doubles, they're winning, right? So he's not putting up a lot of points, and when he gets those triple doubles, and he's getting a lot of them, he's making the team better. Under the circumstances with Durant leaving, I think he's become a fan favorite. You got to go with Westbrook. What the Warriors are doing, they created an all-star team. It's not even worth watching. I actually think that NBA teams should bench their starters when they play the Warriors. You have no chance. So why not give your players a night rest?
I thought
What
I'd
did
be
they
so
do?
excited I thought I'd be so excited for the Warriors this year. I completely agree with you. I can't even watch them. It's like it's not even fun, and that stinks because they were the NBA's team for the past couple years, and now it's just like I don't know. I can't even watch these guys.
It's not even worth watching the game. It's an all-star game. They're just
I
there's
think
no defense.
I think there's a distinct possibility that Curry walks away from that team. He's a free agent at the end of the year. Durant is a free agent at the end of the year. If it doesn't work there, and
then Pat Riley comes calling.
No, but if it doesn't work there, and Golden State makes the bet on Durant instead of on Curry, I can see Curry going somewhere else.
Yeah, well, sure. They got to get that money.
Vinny Del Negro would never do that.
Looking at like old school like NBA Jam like rosters, is that what's going on right now?
That was the name of our intramural basketball team, college.
There were some other highly offensive names.
That was not offensive.
No, but there were other ones.
I don't know. John, anything else you want to say about the NBA before we call it a day?
No, nothing else. I'm a little upset my Lockheed Martin blew, but
I mean, I got it because I live in DC, but other than that, the Maryland listeners will get it.
Good.
Oh yeah.
In between there,
I just googled defense companies.
They're
Defense
shocked
companies contracted with the U.S. government.
Shocking.
Deep Googling.
All right, so this week we had talked about doing a specific beer, and the beer that we had talked about doing was from the Firestone Walker Brewing Company. It is the Wookie Jack Black Rye IPA. It comes in at 8.3% alcohol by volume. You can see if you are watching us right now, it's an absolute true to its name, a Black Rye IPA. And I had this beer for the first time probably about 4 or 5 years ago at a bar up in North Jersey at Morris Tap. A little shout out to them if you're in the Hanover, Randolph, all the Morris County,
Denville,
Route 10.
Denville, Route 10. It's a good stop. The parking lot is an absolute train wreck, but it's a good stop to get some good beer.
Used to be a Denny's.
Nice. They should still have the Grand Slam. That'd be fantastic. Anyway, the Wookie Jack Black Rye IPA. If anybody on the panel has had it, you can kind of speak about it too. For my take, it's a very good drinkable beer. It comes in at the 8.3%, and it definitely doesn't taste like an 8.3% beer. So I give it 1 thumb up.
Great
Anybody
job.
else had it?
I have. I'm actually looking for my review on Tapped right now. I found it, but they have a whole bunch of Jack series, right? They're like, their IPA is a
Double Jack, Lazy Jack.
Well, they just announced, I think, this summer that they're stopping production of a lot of that. So.
All right, here it is. I'm sure you're waiting on bated breath.
We have been waiting for this.
Here is my review via Untapped of Wookie Jack on June 13th, 2015. As per usual, these guys kill it.
Is it the Black Rye IPA?
Yes.
Okay.
That was it.
Wow.
No, I was expecting like a soliloquy.
Oh no. That was my review. As per usual, these guys kill it.
I know that Sean definitely has it. I see him looking hard for it right now in his fridge.
Sean, are you drinking anything tonight?
I'm actually not, but I would like to comment that John should stop eating fucking Tic Tacs on the show because he's just showing up on the monitor. All I hear is little crackle.
For the first F-bomb. That's good. And I haven't said full disclosure until just now. By the way, the count was 8 last week.
8.
I'm gonna take. We should have set the line for that, Brett.
Bad. That's bad.
Over under.
Anybody else had the Wookie Jack? Crickets.
Nope.
Paul, what do you have in front of you tonight? I know that you're nursing a cold. Are you drinking a bottle of NyQuil, or do you have something different?
No, I went for a beer that was born in the Rockies tonight. I, like my buddy Sean, am drinking a Miller Coors product. It's a fine Coors Light tonight.
which is good because when you're sick, you need to hydrate. So I'm glad that you're taking
Totally.
care of yourself over there.
Yeah.
Yampo, have you ever had the slapjack?
No. What's the joke?
Never mind. We'll leave that one offline.
Okay. I see what you did there. Shut it, boy.
I just got it.
I've had the slapjack. The slapjack is a 36% alcohol by volume, and it hits you like an open hand to the face. And then as soon as you're done with it, you got to leave wherever you are immediately.
Immediately.
I mean,
John liked that joke.
John, are you drinking anything tonight?
Aquafina.
Aquafina, because
that's Dasani.
Like
you got a Dasani bottle.
Enhanced with materials for your pure, fresh taste.
By the way, just so you know, when this podcast started, I wasn't even on it, right? And these guys legitimately talked about beer. Like they made an effort and got the beer, and now we're just like, what are you drinking? Nothing. Water. Did you get it? No.
Yeah, it's actually called the Sports and Beer Podcast. So I'm happy that JR, you got nothing.
I have this keyboard duster. I was using it during the NBA segment. So I know nothing about that.
Huffing. Huff reference.
And Yampo, you're off booze for a little while, right?
I'm gonna take a break.
Okay.
I'm drinking water.
May or may not be court ordered. We don't know.
Yeah. Well, if the court is my wife, then it might be.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's good. So, beer segment fail. That's good. Let's go to the end of our show here, which is our final segment. We're going to talk about college football.
Oh, Jeff.
Yeah.
Before you dive in, I have to share this with you.
Oh, good.
Yeah. No, you're gonna really like this. So.
Oh, I hope so.
So all that anger and vitriol and just nastiness I was texting you during the Clemson Ohio State game. Well, I logged in today to get the lines for our segment, and I either am a total idiot or I fat fingered it, and I actually took Clemson in the under.
Shut up.
So I ended up winning after I beat the crap out of you on text and told you how big of a piece of shit I thought you were.
Language.
I ended up winning. So I'm going to send you $30 of the $130 of that particular bet.
I want no part of that.
Okay.
I want no part of that. I just want you to
I'm the one who told you to take Clemson, so
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
you should send it my way.
throw the
So-
victory, John. Throw the victory.
I doubled down on Alabama and won on the Clemson. Fat fingered it. Winner, winner.
Well,
Sorry about the anger.
how do you want to do this, Sean? You want to talk national championship matchup first?
Yeah, sure. We can do a little breakdown. A quick breakdown of those two games.
The Rose Bowl was just disgusting.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a second. I think my biggest takeaway from these playoff games with there are way too many coaches eating boogers on sidelines. That was ridiculous.
Seriously, I'm starving.
It's ridiculous.
Wait, who
Anyway,
else?
Too
Who
many.
else was eating boogers?
Sark after dark ate a booger in the press conference.
I mean, legit, straight up 8-1.
How do you do that, honestly? Like, I mean,
Well, you stick your finger in your nose.
no, I get it, but what makes you say, oh, that looks edible?
I think the nacho cheese that hangs off of it.
Got it.
He used his pinky too, which was an interesting choice, I guess. But anyway, let's move on. The Bama Washington game, I think, went just as I had described. Bama crock-potted as anticipated. Washington stayed in there a little longer than probably a lot of people thought. I thought Washington's O looked pretty good, probably the best that Bama's seen, and their D kept him in it. But Bama, they're just too good. It'll be interesting to see, and I know you guys wanted to talk about it with no Kiffin, who did not really show up to play or show up to call the plays
Or media
this
day.
past week, or media day, or the bus. It'll be interesting to see what Sark does with that team. He's coming from rehab to the booth, eating boogers, and then calling plays. So
Sounds like
that's a big
man after my own
transition.
heart.
That's a big transition. Kiffin was interviewed today on Mike and Mike about not being with Bama and calling plays for the national championship. And he said it was his decision. I just don't buy it. He said it was his decision. He thought it was what was right for the players. I don't understand how not having the best offensive coordinator in the country on your sideline is not what's best for your players. So I don't know if you guys had any opinions on that, but I thought that was just ridiculous.
Saban had enough of him like mid-year.
Yep. This was his out. The second you saw that he took the FAU job, I literally was like, this is happening. He's somehow if they go all the way, obviously.
Well, the first thing he did was he took what job? He's coaching where?
Yeah. Hey, Boca Raton.
Foul.
I don't think Saban wanted him, and I think they kind of came to a little mutual gentleman's agreement that
I think he packed his bags.
It's time for us to go.
Go away.
Was anybody else underwhelmed?
Yeah, I think it might have been
by Bama? No, you're not? Were you not underwhelmed by Bama there? I mean, that bonehead throw by the Washington quarterback that got returned for 6. I mean, that game was really 17-7.
Now, Alabama did exactly what I thought they would do.
Yeah. But I'll tell you this, Dave. They'll have to play better to beat Clemson.
Clemson showed up, man. Yeah. Who didn't show up was Ohio State. I thought Clemson did an awesome job. I thought their defensive line did it particularly well, and just clogging up the run and not allowing Ohio State to do what they want to do. They want to put the ball in number 4's hands. They want to air it out, and they just couldn't do it because they couldn't get the run going. I thought Clemson's offense looked fantastic. He took care of the ball. Initially, he did not, but I thought Deshaun Watson did a really nice job.
That's kind of his MO, right? Like he's like Jekyll and Hyde.
Right. But if they play that way against Bama, that 6.5 spread looks tough. That's the first spread I've ever looked at in any college football game that Bama's played in this year that felt suspect that they might lose. They might lose straight up.
Yeah, I think
if both teams play the same way they did this past weekend, I think Clemson can beat them.
Yeah, that question is the offense going to get on track. I mean, the offense looked terrible.
Alabama's
offense. Yeah, Bama's offense just looked.
It doesn't help that Sark's calling the plays.
Although that guy Scarborough is a beast.
Oh my God,
he just runs people over. It's amazing. He's like LeGarrette Blount back in the heyday.
Yeah, he went full truck stick all game. I think he put up 182, 2 touchdowns.
Was he the one that did he break a big one? Did he break like a 65? Yeah. Oh, that was a beast run.
He just ran over like 5 guys and put his head down. It was amazing.
But how disappointing was that Clemson Ohio State game?
It really was.
Well, I mean, half of it was disappointing. Yeah, I'm sure there was half.
But it just wasn't a game. Like, I don't. Who cares who? From my perspective, who cares who wins? But it was boring. Like I just kept waiting for Ohio State to actually play football, and they just never showed up.
I felt both sides of emotion. I felt both sides of emotion in that game. You know, this past weekend I was angry, and then today I was happy.
You're like, oh.
Did any other conference like do as poorly as the Big Ten did across the board?
Big Ten 3-7. That was bad showing.
Like woof.
Wisconsin got it done.
The worst part about it is that they're 10 teams, 3-7, right?
Yeah.
Like too many bowl games. Come on, Sean. Too many freaking bowl games.
We got to do a segment next year where Sean makes up some bowl names and we guess if it's a real bowl or not.
Oh, good call.
I like that.
Paul, if you listened to your own show last time, JR did crack a joke.
I heard it.
He did the Raging Cajun Bowl, and no one knew if that was.
I did listen.
Brett did not recognize whether or not it was real, and then he said that goes to show you how ridiculous some of these bowl names were.
I did exactly that.
JR's cutting in.
JR jumping in.
Danny.
I think Paul knows. I think what he's saying is he wants to expand that to a full segment.
He wants more bits. Yeah, he wants more bits.
That's kind of what I was saying, but it doesn't matter. Whatever.
What he needs,
I can be replaced.
No, you're a founding father, Paul.
No, I'm not.
So is Rass.
That's Lane Kiffin. Good God Almighty!
Oh God! Why does my JR now sound like Jerry Boyle all of a sudden?
So you're like,
Jerry Boyle. Oh, I hope he's watching somewhere.
This is the point in the show where it just starts going off the rails.
Especially with this around the horn segment we got with all these. This is like Jeff needs a mute button. I'm about to get muted.
I actually have mute buttons. I don't use them because I'd like you to speak freely. Is what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Rose Bowl.
Well, before you actually, I guess, give your prediction there, Sean, on the national championship matchup, do you want to talk about the other bowls? I'm really glad that USC won. Because if Penn State won, we would have had to listen nonstop to be like, the committee got it wrong. Penn State should have been like, shut up. right?
Yeah,
still
I
arguing
agree.
that.
I thought that game was unbelievable. I mean, probably one of the better Rose Bowls that we've seen in a very long time. I don't want to say if not ever because I'm not 100-something years old, but John, easy on the Tic Tacs, dude.
Minty Fred.
Come on, trying to do a segment here. But that game started off a little slow. I was really excited to watch USC kind of come back. Penn State went on a 28 at one point, and then USC just started airing it out, man. And they used those perimeter threats. I was really excited to see Sam Darnold put up 5 touchdowns, almost 500 yards. Between the two quarterbacks, I think they threw for 700 yards.
Now he can't come out, right?
Yeah, he's a redshirt sophomore.
So he can or he can't come out?
Cannot.
Yeah, which is good because if he came out, the Jets would take him.
He was pretty incredible for a young kid, man. He was not only just dropping balls wherever he wanted, but he had a lot of poise. He walked off that field like it was a JV game. He didn't show much emotion. He stayed in control. I was really proud of that USC win. I thought they did a really nice job, and I do agree that I'm very thankful it didn't create the storyline that Penn State should have been in there.
Orange Bowl, tough loss for Michigan, right? So happy to see it happen, but tough loss for Michigan.
That's really hard, man. I said that Michigan was going to win 125-5. I think that was
you were slightly off.
Yeah,
just a bit outside on that prediction right there.
That's a disappointment for Michigan. I don't want to blame it a lot on Jabril Peppers. That was disappointing to see him not play. But they didn't really get it going either. Going back to what JR said earlier, Big Ten didn't really show up to play. So FSU took care of them. ACC actually did really well on bowl play, but that was disappointing. It was a fun game to watch. It was a great game to watch. I thought Florida State did a really nice job in coming back and taking that win.
It wasn't fun for Jake Butt, that's for sure.
Oh no.
Oh God, that goes back to the injury. I mean, that's the injury conversation.
Does he fall out of the first round?
It could as an ACL.
I mean, I think he was definitely a first round pick. No.
I think most.
I haven't seen too much from a scouting standpoint.
What were you going to say? Ian?
First, is that what you said?
I think he's a first rounder. Yeah.
You think he falls out because of the injury or no?
I mean, I guess it really depends on what he shows up at the combine with.
I don't think he goes to a combine.
Exactly. Just kidding. I'm yelling for no reason. Yeah, I think that's it's tough. That's everything you hate to see.
Sean, is Dalvin Cook the best back coming out, or do you think Fournette's still better than him? Who's going to be the best pro?
I think Fournette is. I think he's from a scout standpoint. Everybody puts him above Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook's awesome. He does great out of the backfield. He catches the ball a lot more than Fournette. So I think he has maybe a little more potential, but the power of Fournette is just unbelievable. He's just built like an NFL back, at least one in today's game.
Dalvin Cook reminds me of Warwick Dunn.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Because they both went to Florida State?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And they're both smaller, good inside runners.
They look the same.
And they look the same.
Yeah. The color.
No comment. I heard you, Jeff.
They're colors. I don't understand the problem. Listen,
Okay.
don't project your.
I'm not. Don't even go there with me.
It's like he wants to reach across the screen and slap you, Jim.
I was gonna say I will open hand slap you right out of this podcast if I need to right now.
Might want to come with a closed fist.
Digitally. I don't believe in the closed fist. I believe in telling people I use the closed fist, but I don't believe in actually using the closed fist.
Got it. Makes sense.
That's how it is. Sean, let's do this to close it out before we give our national championship picks. If you were going to re-rank the top 10 today, based on what you saw the last week or so, how would you have it shape up? I guess this kind of gives you your pick for the national title game, but we'll roll with it anyway.
It doesn't, because we still have that to play. When I thought through the question earlier, I was looking at a point in time. So I'm looking at it right now today, what it looks like, and I still have Alabama as a number 1. I have Clemson as number 2. I have Washington as number 3. I thought they played Bama pretty tough. They're a 2-loss conference champ to a USC. Their other losses to USC, who turned it around and turned out being a really great team. Number 4, I put Oklahoma to win 10 straight. And then one of those is including, number 12, Oklahoma State in Bedlam, and they're a conference champ. They're a 2-loss team at this point. It was pretty impressive. I've got USC at 5, another team that won 10 straight. They beat 2 conference champs, so that was pretty impressive on their part. I've got Penn State at 6, Ohio State at 7, just because of that embarrassment. I've got Florida State at 8, Michigan dropping down to 9, and Wisconsin at 10, which is kind of funny because if you think about it, going into the playoff, or at least a few weeks going into the playoff, you had Penn State, Ohio State, Michigan, and Wisconsin all ranking a lot higher than that. So their bowl play didn't come through, and that's why I put it in the place that they did when it came time to shine. They just didn't.
Yeah, I mean, there was argument for all of those teams that they should be in that playoff, right?
Yeah, I mean, there was every single one of them. Well, except Wisconsin. I don't think they would have really had a shot, but that's how I'd lay it out. As far as the national championship game goes, Yampo's getting nervous because he hears sirens.
I didn't know what that was. I thought it was someone's kid.
Just Chicago. Don't worry.
Yeah, it's just
I'm good. I won't be here for a while.
If both of those teams play the way that they did, I think Clemson can beat Alabama. I would take Clemson straight up in that matchup right now.
Line right now is Bama laying 6.5. So you would take Clemson. You think Clemson is going to win the game outright, Sean? Or could win the game?
I do.
Okay.
I think they very well could. I think the Kiffin thing, people are saying it's not that big of a deal. I think it's a big deal. And I would have thought it would have moved the line. It hasn't really done that a ton. I think Clemson, in years past, everybody playing Bama didn't have 5 years in a row of playing in a national championship with, their third string guys getting reps in national championship games. Clemson's coming back in a nice little rematch, and they have guys with experience in those games, particularly arguably one of the best, if not the best player in college football, with Deshaun Watson. So it'll be exciting to watch. Definitely tune in. Be a fun one. I'll live tweet from Tampa.
Or go for free if you get offered a ticket or not.
Or not.
Cove likes the over.
I'm gonna go with not.
Yep, my wife.
What is the over under?
51.
What's the over under, Yampo? John?
I don't know.
He said 51.
I got 51 right now.
What would you do, Sean? 51. I think
that seems low.
I think Clemson in the over.
I would take Clemson in the over too.
Sean, not to sound like the novice, was Kiffin calling the plays this weekend?
Yes.
So
you sound like a novice.
Yeah, they didn't look that awesome on offense. Is it possible that Sark comes in and actually does a better job, and that's part of the reason that Saban punted?
What, were you asleep when we did the segment before?
I think Sark's name sounds like a Marvel supervillain, doesn't it?
That's because it's Stark, and it's like the Game of Thrones one as well.
No.
Hey, Sean, let me ask you, do you think Penn State should be in the top 5 of your re-rank? Oh, wait, you just said that a minute ago.
Sean, could you list the top 10 teams?
Jesus.
Wow. Whole lot of hate. Paul, your pick, national title game. I guess spread and without spread.
I'm going to go Clemson. Clemson outright.
Clemson outright. John.
Clemson money line. Like it.
I think Clemson straight up. I think if you put up 100, you can win 255 back. I like Clemson. Clemson's bringing back a veteran quarterback. Alabama's playing with a rookie. That's the difference. Deshaun Watson's a great player.
JR?
Can I say Bama rolls?
Yeah.
I think they wake up and absolutely roll them.
Okay, so you would lay the points.
I would lay the points.
Okay.
And the over.
Yeah, Poe.
Clemson money line. Sean has a pretty good week last week. If you go back through his recap of what he picked, and I'm going to ride that horse to the gravy train.
With the exception of picking Michigan to have like 600 points.
That was the only game he actually picked wrong. He picked Oklahoma.
That was a joke.
Oh, you didn't really think they were going to score 150?
He called exactly what was going to happen in that Wisconsin Western Michigan game.
Listen, that is why he is the turn to sports and sometimes beer, even though poorly executed, college football expert.
He's John Anthony of college football.
Sure.
Brandon Lang.
Brett.
Oh, Brendan Lang.
Brett, who do you got?
I hate doing this, but I thought I was going to come in with some like creative hot take, like I'm taking Clemson in the national title game, but I'm taking Clemson in the national title game.
So you would,
but if Bama smoked Washington, would you feel that way? I don't think any of us would.
No, I wouldn't. I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't. It's just I've seen, you saw a good
vulnerability.
Yeah, you saw a good team play not so well, and you saw a good team play excellent, and you just kind of say when you throw them together, I'm going to take the team that plays excellent. That's kind of how I feel. Though.
Ohio State's a big deal to me.
Yeah, for sure.
So I gotta roll the same way. I think Clemson. So that's going to wrap us up for this week. Thanks for checking us out. If you are listening on iTunes, please share away. You can subscribe to our podcast by searching Turn 2 Podcast, Turn 2 Sports and Beer Podcast. You can find us on all social media by searching Turn 2 Podcast. And you can email us at Gmail, turn2podcast@gmail.com. A couple of people have said they've been searching us on YouTube, and you can find us there. Turn 2 Podcast. It's all the same, folks. Nothing changes. We try to keep it as consistent as we can. Brett has been blowing up that Snapchat. So.
Get it, that snap. Get it, that snap.
Got to get it there. Boys, I'm not going to go around the horn because there's a billion of you. So, thanks for the opinions this week. I think it was a spirited discussion. We look forward as college football wraps up and the NFL starts to wind down. We're going to dive into a little bit of college basketball, and then baseball will be here before we know it. So until next time, everybody, thanks for taking the time.
Desperandum, dear lady. Across the desert lies the promised land. Goodbye, Mrs. Gloop. You, auf Wiedersehen, Gesundheit, farewell. Fare thee well to you, my own true love. River Mercy, fare thee well. I am bound for California, a place that I know right well. So fare thee well, my own true love. When I return united we will be. It's not the leaving of Liverpool that's grieving me, but my darling, when I think of thee. Now I signed on a Yankee clipper ship. Davy Crockett is the name, and the captain's name it is Burgess, and they say that she's a floating shame. So farewell, my own true love. When I return united we will be. It's not the leaving of Liverpool that's grieving me, but my darling, when I think of thee. Now I sailed with Burgess once before, and I think that I know him well. If a man's a sailor, he will get along. If he's not, then he's sure in hell. So farewell, my own true love. When I return united we will be. It's not the leaving of Liverpool that's grieving me, but my darling, when I think of thee. All right, Gio. Sun is on the harbor, love. Oh, I wish that I could remain, for I know that it will be a long, long time before I see you again. So farewell, my own true love. When I return united we will be. It's not the leaving of Liverpool that's grieving me, but my darling, when I think of thee. One more time. So farewell, my own true love. When I return united we will be. It's not the leaving of Liverpool that's grieving me, But my darling, when I think of thee.
Well, my hangover's gone and I'm thirsty for more.